is Sanie. I'm the director of the Youth and Social Services for the Antelope Valley GLBT Community Center and the advisor to the Out Project. And I guess this is my coming out story. I first started coming out to my family when I was 26 years old. I'm 32 years old now. But I think like most people, I knew that I was gay long before I was able to understand what it meant to be gay. It's kind of funny because I used to think that I'm a pretty intelligent guy. I went to college, I completed my degree, and it always just fascinates me that I didn't realize that I was gay until I was in my early 20s. I was in school learning all the things that I needed to learn, and I knew that I was attracted to boys, but I never really understood what that meant, I don't think. I can even remember as early as maybe 8 years old, watching old black and white reruns of Superman and thinking, wow, he's pretty cute and I'd like to grow up to look like him. So it always just boggles my mind that I wasn't aware of what it meant to be gay earlier in my life. But I think I had a lot of things to learn and a lot of things to experience. And I know that I wouldn't be sitting here doing what I'm doing now if I hadn't had to make the choices I did and learn from the choices that were both good choices and bad choices. So I grew up Catholic out here in the Antelope Valley, was raised by two wonderful parents who taught me what it meant to be a good person, what it meant to be a hard worker, and what it meant to be an honorable person. And then when I went away to college, I converted to being LDS or Latter-day Saint or Mormon because at the time those were the beliefs, and in some ways still are the beliefs that I still value and hold true. Being charitable, unconditional love toward my fellow human beings, being able to not just look at a person for who they are, but to be able to look at them for their potential and who they have to become. And I think that's really where my coming out really started. I realized that for me, if I truly believed in charity, if I believed in unconditional love, if I believed in forgiveness, and if I truly believed that we were all created in this higher being's image, if we were all created in God's image, then why would he create someone that would be gay and doomed to a life where I would not be forgiven, and that I would be part of these religious organizations that would tell me that the only way for me to be okay would be to deny those things that I've always felt, and not necessarily chosen to feel, but what I felt. And I think that's where my life started to shift, because I couldn't feel like I was living an authentic life and a purposeful life if there was this part of me that I wasn't allowed to express and allowed to accept. And so I left organized religion altogether and started my process of coming out. I was 25 when I left church, and 26 when I started and told my very first person that I was gay. And it was my best friend, Wanda, and I couldn't have done it without her, because she was okay with me being me, and that me being gay was just as acceptable as me being Filipino, as me being male, as me being anything that I am and have no control over, as well as the things that I want to be. So that was my first step. And it was really powerful to have the first person that I was able to tell that I was gay be so loving and accepting of me. And then I think it kind of snowballed from there. I told the people at work that I work with, I work as a marriage and family therapist, and I was in a meeting, and we were just kind of talking about what the things that were going on in our lives, and I said, well, I just want to let you all know that I'm gay, and they all kind of looked at me and said, duh. So that was an easy one. And I think I slowly made the process of just being more out. I remember the very first time that I told my church friends that I was gay. They actually happened to be two young men that were Boy Scouts in the LDS church that when I was active in it. And it was kind of ironic that, you know, they had the gay guy who was in charge of the Boy Scouts. Just seems kind of funny now, even though I didn't know that well, at least I didn't understand that I was gay at the time. And so I remember telling them that I was gay, and it was really funny because I don't think that they believed me. I know they didn't believe me at the time because they were convinced that this was the ultimate practical joke to get back at them for all of those years in Boy Scouts when they were picking on me and teasing me and all of those things. And I remember they took me to a straight nudie bar, and I didn't want to go, but I don't remember what their reasons were, but I ended up going into it with them. They were well over the age, so none of this can be used against me in court of law. And it was funny because at some point they just gave up and said, you can go home, and I was like, okay. And when I asked them why they said that it was okay for me to go home, they said, well, we were convinced that you were gay. And I was like, why? And I said, well, you spent more time checking out the guys instead of the girls that were swinging around on the poles. And I thought, great, thanks. And let's see. I think the last bit of my coming out that was probably the hardest and the most difficult, and probably not really sure anymore why I saved to the very end, but it was coming out to my mom and my sister. My dad had already passed away, and I think that wherever he is, where he's looking down on me from now, I'm sure that he knows that his son is gay. But I remember I had met this other guy online, and we were just chatting, and we had developed a friendship, and he knew that I was studying to be a marriage and family therapist, and asked me whether or not I had come out to my mom and my sister, and I had told him that I hadn't, because I didn't think that I was ready to do that, and I didn't think that they were able to handle that. And I remember very clearly, it was just something that he said to me that just, it really was a punch to the gut. He said, how could you possibly be a therapist and expect people to be honest about their feelings and tell you about all the things that they're going through when you can't be honest in your most important relationships, that being your mom and your sister. And I remember that night after I got off the phone thinking, he's absolutely right. How can I say that this is who I am? How can I say that the whole reason that I made the choice to come out, to be a more authentic and to be more true to myself, how could I say all those things when I wasn't willing to tell my mom and my sister that this is who I am? And so I did. I woke up that next morning, called up my mom and said, could I swing by and visit you after work? And I told her that I sat her down and we talked and had a very open conversation, and I told her that I was gay. I think she was shocked and wasn't sure how to respond.